The strangest unsolved mysteries are those with video evidence. Especially in missing person cases, it can seem like the puzzles to these mysteries are so close, yet there are still missing pieces of the puzzle that leave the case unexplained. Number 5. The unsolved disappearance of Dale Kirkstetter and $250,000 worth of platinum piping from a factory in Bradford, Pennsylvania, is one of the strangest unsolved mysteries caught on camera. Dale was 50 years old and just 6 months away from retirement when he vanished without a trace during a strange crime. It was September 12, 1987 when the mystery began. Dale had recently been let go from his job in the trade shop at Corning Glassworks plant during a downsizing for the company, and he took on extra shifts as a weekend security guard to help make up the pay difference. Dale arrived for work that evening, about half an hour early. His shift was due to start at 11 p.m., but at 10:30 p.m., he relieved the guard who had been on duty before him. The rest of the workers left not long after Dale arrived, and he was supposed to be alone in the factory for the next 8 hours. At 7 the next morning, another security guard came to take over, but found the factory empty. Dale was missing, but his lunch pail and plant keys were sat on a table inside. Outside, his Jeep was still in the parking lot, with the keys still in the ignition, and a pack of cigarettes inside. At first, Dale's employers thought he had just gone off drinking, but by that evening, they realized something strange had happened. Police were called in to investigate the unsolved mystery. Sniffer dogs followed Dale's scent around the factory, both on his usual rounds route and off towards the kiln, even though Dale wasn't supposed to go near there. A search of the nearby areas turned up no trace of the missing man. Then police checked the camera footage and were shocked to discover Dale hadn't been alone at all. About 10 minutes after Dale had arrived, a mysterious and unidentified man entered the factory. He was wearing a mask, and the security camera footage from the factory was so grainy it was hard to make out much. What could be made out was that Dale had spoken with the intruder a while and walked with him. Not long after the mysterious individual arrived, Dale apparently disappeared and wasn't seen on security footage again after 10:45 p.m. The masked intruder went to the glass kiln and removed the platinum pipes kept inside. It took hours, but the unknown man eventually left with $250,000 worth of platinum that the plant used in its manufacturing process. At one point, he was seen carrying a large, heavy-looking bag out from a side room using a forklift. In the early hours of the morning, the intruder left, and things in the plant remained unchanged until the new security guard stumbled across the crime scene. It's not clear if Dale was involved in the crime. The intruder seemed to know the layout of the factory very well, and it's likely he was either employed there or had been in the past. But if they were familiar with the security at the factory, it wouldn't have made much sense for the robbery to start 20 minutes before a shift change was supposed to take place. This lends to the idea that Dale was involved in the unsolved crime. There was also no evidence of violent crime had taken place. Some have suggested the criminal took Dale's life and hid his body in the bag he was seen taking away, but no sign of a struggle was found at the factory. Dale's family argued that he had no reason to disappear without a trace and wasn't in need of the money. Even if he had committed the crime, it would have made sense for him to return after the statute of limitations ran out, but he never did. What happened to Dale or the platinum remains an unsolved mystery to this day, with chilling camera footage only leaving more questions for investigators and Dale's family. Number 4. This unsolved mystery didn't have a lot of information when it first happened, and a lack of publicity in the case hasn't helped that grow. But the chilling door camera video from a home of a missing person is enough to creep most people out. Nguyen disappeared on August 17, 2017. He was 32 years old at the time and lived in Grand Prairie, Texas. Not a lot of information is known about Hop. He was a Vietnamese-American man who drove a Nissan 350Z convertible. He was last seen at about 10:30 p.m. on the night that he disappeared, driving in that car on State Highway 161, exiting Lower Tarrant Road. At some point, Hop's friends and family realized he was missing. They contacted police, but initially police couldn't find any evidence of foul play. Someone was able to get access to Hop's Ring doorbell camera. This style of camera streams a live feed to the owner once they've logged in, but also records videos when movement is detected. His friends discovered a disturbing video recorded the night Hop vanished. An unidentified man walks backwards towards the front door, making sure his face isn't seen by the camera. He then sticks a piece of paper over the camera so he cannot be seen. The sound of either keys being tried in the door or a lockpick tool being used can be heard, and then the door opens. There are 2 beeps, which may be part of a home security system. After a few more seconds, there's more movement, possibly of the paper falling a little. Then the video ends. The video was released by Hop's family and friends, but information, like when exactly the video was recorded, hasn't been released. It's not known if Hop was in the house or not at the time of the mysterious visitor. There's been plenty of speculation about what might have happened to him. The fact Hop was missing the tip of his right index finger and has the letters TFT tattooed on his right arm has led some to suggest that he may have been involved in a gang or other criminal activity, but this hasn't been confirmed by those who knew him or police. It seems likely Hop was targeted, but why remains another mystery. Hop is described as being 5 foot 7 inches tall and weighing 165 pounds when he vanished. As well as the TFT tattoo, he had a sleeve tattoo of a dragon on the same arm and a scar behind his right ear. Anyone with information that could help solve this case should contact Grand Prairie Police Department at 972-237-8790. Number 3. A chilling CCTV video shows the last known moments of a missing Australian woman who vanished in February of this year. The unsolved mystery of Trey Olsen's disappearance began on February 17, 2022. At 1 a.m., she was seen at a Newton petrol station in her silver Mazda hatchback. She pulled up to the petrol pump and got out. Then she was approached by an unidentified man. She had gotten into a minor traffic accident with the man shortly before pulling into the station. The two got into an argument, and the man walks away from Trey. She then continues to fill up her car and pays at the window. At the window, the attendant seems to tell her something Trey wasn't expecting. Then, rather than going straight to her own car, she goes across the parking lot to a red car, which appears to be empty. She looks inside, then returns to her vehicle. Trey then left the petrol station and hasn't been seen since. The exact circumstances surrounding Trey's disappearance aren't clear. Not much has been made public about Trey's life before she vanished, but her family has revealed they know of no reason why she would be traveling to the Newtown area. Police first appealed for information on February 28th, confirming that her family hadn't heard from her at all since the 17th. 2 days later, her vehicle was found on a rugged road about 20 minutes away from the petrol station. The car had been abandoned on the road, which was only suitable for four-wheel drive vehicles. A search of the area turned up a number of Trey's personal belongings, including toiletries, but Trey remains missing. Police have appealed for anybody who was in the area around the time Trey disappeared to contact authorities via police link at 131-444. They've also called for the owner of a red ute seen on nearby Green Gully Road with its bonnet up around the time of the disappearance to come forward. Trey is described as being 165 centimeters tall, with a slight build, black hair, and brown eyes. Number 2. For more than 8 years, the family of Robert Hutchinson has been looking for answers to the unsolved mystery surrounding his disappearance. They fear he is no longer alive, but are no closer to discovering what happened to the missing man than they were the day that he vanished without a trace. Robert was 56 years old when he was last seen on June 23, 2014, in Sunderland, England. He had 2 adult children he was very close to, and a grandson he adored. As far as anybody knew, there was nothing mysterious about Robert. He was an ordinary grandfather with no known enemies. On the day he disappeared, he gave his daughter a lift home after she spent the day with a cousin. They agreed to meet up the following morning after she had taken her son to school. Later, he visited the petrol station. Here, CCTV cameras captured Robert filling up his car. The short video that was released to the public was in hopes that it might help solve this unsolved mystery, and it shows a scene that takes place countless times all over the UK, with nothing out of the ordinary. Robert parks, puts petrol in his blue Nissan Micra, then leaves. Robert then presumably went home. He was seen at 6:20 p.m. leaving his home. The nature of that sighting isn't clear, but it is his last confirmed sighting. The following day, his car was parked about 10 minutes away on a residential street. His family reported Robert missing a few days later when they hadn't heard from him, and the investigation into his disappearance began. Early on, 3 people were arrested on suspicion of taking his life, but the 3 men were never charged. Since then, there appears to have been little involvement in the case. Police believe someone in the community knows what happened to Robert, and they do not believe he disappeared voluntarily. A reward has been offered for information that could help provide answers in this unsolved mystery. Any information should be passed to the Northumbria Police or Crime Stoppers. Number 1. Jesse Ross vanished without a trace late one November night in 2006. He was last seen on a security video at the Sheraton Hotel and Towers in Chicago, before disappearing into an unsolved mystery. Almost as strange as the security footage that was found is the security footage that wasn't. The lack of evidence after Jesse left the hotel lobby where he was last seen only makes the case even more unexplained. Jesse was 19 years old and a student at the University of Missouri, Kansas City. He had just got a job on a morning radio program and had no apparent problems in his life. In 2005, he took part in a mock United Nations event in Chicago. He enjoyed it so much he decided to go again the next year. Most of the trip went as planned, but on the final night of the conference, Jesse disappeared. On the evening of November 20th, there was a party for students who had attended. Alcohol wasn't supposed to be served, but many of the students, including Jesse, drank at the event. Then at 12:30 a.m. the following morning, a mock emergency security council meeting was called, which Jesse attended. Reports of how much Jesse had drunk differ, but most people report Jesse wasn't too intoxicated, though he didn't say much during the meeting. Between 2 and 3 a.m., Jesse told his friend he needed to take a break and left the conference room. He then wandered down to the lower level of the hotel, where he was seen on CCTV walking towards the main doors, and vanished. Most of the entrances and exits of the hotel were covered by security cameras. None picked up Jesse leaving. However, a staff door on the south side wasn't covered by cameras and was permitted to be used by conference goers. If Jesse had left this way, he wouldn't have been seen. But even if Jesse did leave the hotel, what happens next is a mystery. The route back to the hotel where he and the other students from his university were staying was a route lined with bars and expensive shops, all with security cameras. None of the cameras picked up anything that would help explain this unsolved mystery. It's possible Jesse was disoriented due to alcohol and went the other way, or even decided to climb over the 4-foot railing that lined the Chicago River. The following morning, when it was realized Jesse was missing, a search began. Despite the efforts of local police and private investigators brought in by the Ross family, no trace of Jesse has ever been found. Jesse's parents at one point claimed students were told by the university not to speak about the incident, something the university denies. His parents do not believe the police's story that Jesse fell into the river, but do fear that he's no longer alive. Jesse was 5 foot 10 inches tall and weighed 140 pounds. He had red hair that was cut short and wore glasses with dark frames. On the night of his disappearance, he was wearing a white t-shirt, green jacket, and jeans. Anyone with information on this case should contact the Chicago Police Department at 312-744-8266. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked this video, be sure to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell to keep up to date with all of our future uploads. But my name is Ty Knotts, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.